Good evening. It is day 13. So today we're going to set up internal test track on Google Play. So this is kind of like test flight for Android devices, most Android devices. There is there are other app stores you can deploy to. We're not going to take care of that. Most people use the Play Store, so we're just going to focus on the Play Store today. So let's get started. Ignore all of that. So you're going to want to go to, I can never remember the URL, so I usually just search Google Play Developer Console. If you search Google Play, you're going to be taken to the Play Store and not the Developer Console. So make sure you are clicking on the appropriate one here. I have an ad blocker. We'll just proceed through that. Okay, you want to hit Go to Play Console. This will prompt you to log in. So you'll use a Google account. If you don't have one, you'll have to register a Google account. Maybe this will load. I'll give it a minute. In the meantime, let me close this tab. Okay, wow, that took a moment. So you'll see something like this. You can choose your developer account. If you don't have a developer account, you'll need to register for one. Register for Google Developer Account. I don't remember if you can do that from the Play console or not. So if you can't, there are steps right here that you can follow. One thing I forgot to mention with the iOS one, when you sign up for a developer account, there is a fee. It is $99 a year to be an iOS, Mac, Apple, etc., iWatch or Apple Watch, whatever the heck they're called, developer. So there is a fee associated with that. So just something to be aware of. And Google has one as well. The last time I checked, it was $25 for 25 years. Yeah, it's a one-time registration fee, so it's significantly cheaper. But yeah, you can sign up for a Play Console developer account. You have to accept some agreements, choose a developer type account after paying the fee, so you can be personal or an organization, and then verify your developer identity information. This is kind of new. In fact, I think I need to do this still. Because it was not a thing when I first signed up. So now that you've done that and follow those steps, you can go back to the Play console. I'm going to sign in with the Pyre Studios email that I use. And I am going to close out a couple tabs. I'm not sure what all is open on those tabs. I'm going to pull this up. Okay. Sorry, give me just a second. Pyre Studios, great. Stuff about Active Directory changing. Let's close 1Password, close VS Code. Okay, and let me shut down this server if it's still running. Okay, it's not. Great, sorry, I just wanted to free up some CPU cycles. It looked like my computer was struggling a little bit. And I really need to get a new MacBook at some point in the future that is not the bare minimum. But for a long time, I was just doing front-end web development, and you really don't need more. Now that I'm doing mobile stuff more frequently, it would be nicer to have a new Mac that has a little more oomph behind it. Okay, so selecting this one, I'm selecting my organization. Just select yours, whatever you have. Choose your. I need to do that, so I will do that soon. But today we're talking about our application. Let me close out of this. So we'll hit down here. There's a button that says Create App. We'll hit that. We need to give it a name. This is called Philosopher's Stone. It's an app. You can choose a game if you'd like, free or paid. We're going to make it paid. Confirm meets the developer program policies, meets export laws. This is the encryption thing and possibly more that we talked about in the iOS video or the Apple App Store video. Just make sure you read this and you understand you're agreeing that you complied with laws and regulations, and these are things that you really want to understand and not not just fudge the checkbox on. Especially if it's your first time reading through those, there's a lot of really relevant information in there. Okay, so we're here, we're doing pretty good. Share our app with up to 100 internal testers to identify feedback issues, so we can select testers. I have a list already. This is just me, my Gmail. I'm going to use this list. If you don't have one, you can hit create an email list and fill this stuff out here. Okay, you can provide a feedback URL or email address. It looks like you might have to. So I'm going to put that and then hit save. Okay, the changes have been updated. We've selected testers. Create a new release. Create an internal testing release. So there are multiple options over here. You can set up pre-registration, which allows people to start registering for your app ahead of time. Internal testing, this is like test flight. Closed testing is public, but people have to sign up for it. Open testing is a testing version that anyone can use, but it's marked as testing. So there's some messaging around, hey, this is a test version and it has new features before other stuff, but maybe buggy, blah, blah, blah. And then production is like, this is what, if you install an app on the App Store, 99% of the time you're going to get a production track app. So we'll get to that point in the future. But for now, just make sure you're on the internal testing one. And we want to edit release. Okay. To upload a bundle, you must provide a signing key or generate one using Play App Signing. Use Google generated key. Okay, we have our signing key, which is great. So now we're going to go back to our terminal, make sure we are not in the iOS folder, and run flutter build app bundle. I mentioned a couple videos ago that I had some environment changes. I switched to Flutter Version Manager after running into some weird edge case issues. So if you are using Flutter Version Manager, you type FVM before your Flutter command. Otherwise, just type your Flutter command. So this will take a minute. Hopefully it succeeds. We'll let it run. And there is a fair chance that we have some issues with the app when we build it and deploy it to our internal test track. That is the point of the internal test track. Get it on actual devices so we can test it and make sure it works as expected. We won't tackle those today, but if we do run into any issues, we will tackle them in a future video, probably the next video. This can take, in theory, this shouldn't take too long. Our application's not that complicated, but it could take a couple minutes. So in the meantime, we can talk about this. So this is where you put your release notes. So I'm just going to put initial release for internal testing. You can give it a name. This will be auto-generated based off of the file that we upload here in just a moment. There's a button here that we'll use to upload this. And yeah, we'll just kind of wait for this to finish. Also, if you're enjoying Flutter and you are, and this is something you want to continue exploring, there are a lot of different educators out here in the Flutter ecosystem. I would explore some of those and see what's available so you can continue learning. I plan on still doing more Flutter stuff. I also am probably going to start doing more Node and or Bun related stuff in my videos come 2024. So we will see kind of how things shake out. But if people are really enjoying the Flutter stuff, I would love to keep doing Flutter apps and kind of walking people through how we build those. Okay, so it completed. You can see here's the URL, or not the URL, but the path that the app bundle is on. I'm going to hit upload. This has a previous app right here. So just go to wherever you stored Philosopher's Stone, build app outputs bundle release, build app outputs bundle release, app release AAB. 22 megabytes. It's actually smaller than the iOS version, which is kind of interesting. So one thing worth mentioning too is whenever you upload through Xcode on iOS, you can have it manage your version number for you. To my knowledge, we don't have anything like that on the Android side. So the version in your PubSpec YAML is what is actually used as your version number. So as you're making new versions of your application, which we'll get to in the future, just make sure that you update your PubSpec. Excuse me. Okay, first issue. This was signed in debug mode. You need to sign your APK or Android app bundle in release mode. Let's click on that link. Okay, following guide. Generate and upload key in Key Store. Sign your app with your upload key. Configure play app signing. If you don't already have an upload key, which is useful when configuring play app signing, you can generate one. So we do have an upload key. If you already have an upload key, use it to sign your app. If instead your app is already signed or published to the Google Play Store with an existing app signing key, use it to sign your app. Okay. You will need to go through this on your own. I'm going to go through it now as well. The reason I can't really screen share this is because that key is very sensitive information. So we're going to look at my face while I explore that. So yeah, you'll need to generate your upload key in Key Store and then sign your app with your key. I'm actually, one more thing before we get into that. There is, if we go to the Flutter docs, we go to Flutter documentation right here. Somewhere there is a section about deployment, build and release an Android app. So if you click on this, you'll get Flutter specific stuff. So in our case, signing the app is the one that we're mostly concerned about. It tells you that you can use an AAB or an APK. The end users download an APK file signed with the app signing key. To create your app signing key, use the stuff that we were just looking at. Create an upload key store. If you already have one, skip the step. And then reference the key store from your app. So create a file named project Android key properties. So let's do that. And then whenever we actually get into the details for that key property file, I will switch the camera back over. So we have Philosopher's Stone, could not find it. So if we go to Android, and it's Android key.properties. So I'm going to close this app folder and then type, click on Android, click here, key.properties. Okay, I am going to copy these, paste them here, and you'll use the values that you generate from this step right here. I already have mine. So I am going to continue on to the next steps, and then I'll come back and update these in the future. So configure Gradle to use your upload key when building an app in release mode. So we can grab this. Just before, so add the key store information to your properties file before the Android block. It's actually not a properties file, it's a build.gradle, so that might be something they need to update. Android app build.gradle. So app/build.gradle. So make sure you go to that one before your Android block. So we'll paste them right here. Okay, the formatting is unfortunately off, but now it's fixed. Find the build types block and replace it with the following. Okay, so we will grab everything in build types right here and replace it with that. So it sets up our signing configs, and then it adapts our release build type so that it uses those signing configs. Release builds of your app will now be signed automatically. Okay, so in theory, that's it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my key store properties from another application. And I will paste them in key.properties, philosopher's stone / Android key.properties. Okay, let me make sure that has been updated. Don't save, key.properties. Yeah, that's my upload key store. Okay, perfect. Let me never show that on stream again. And now let's try to sign our application. So if we do Flutter build app bundle, oops, and again, I need to use the fvm command because I'm using Flutter version manager. But if you just installed Flutter without a version manager, just run Flutter build app bundle. If you're really, it's not a bad idea to use a version manager, but if you're really only working on one project, like it's not a huge concern. The reason that I have a version manager is because I jump between a couple different Flutter projects and I can't always update them to the latest version. There may be reasons why. Sometimes it's just time, but it could be quite a bit. Okay, so we want Philosopher's Stone, build, app, outputs, bundle, release. There we go. So this is the new one that was just generated a second ago. We want to upload this, and then hopefully we don't see that error message anymore. I'll let this upload. And I'll close out a couple tabs in the meantime. Remember, if you do have signing information or you're running into issues deploying your application, there's this wonderful deployment section in the Flutter docs that I would point you to. If you really want to go an extra mile, there's a thing called continuous deployment where you use tools like CodeMagic, Bitrise, or AppCircle, and whenever you push code to a repo, they will build it out for you and deploy it to the iOS and the Play Store. This is really, really nice. We've had this, I've had this at a previous employer's set up. I have an app set up with Bitrise doing this. Bitrise is the only one I've used. I like them a lot. I've not tried CodeMagic. I've not tried AppCircle. I'm sure they're fine. Okay, so we come back. We don't have that error message this time. We can see that it gives us 1.0 for our version number. We can see it has one required feature, 3 ABIs, 4 screen layouts, target SDK, blah, blah, blah. We'll go ahead and hit next. And you can see this is the size for new installs. So if someone's downloading our app for the first time, they'll have 8 megabytes to install. That's not too bad. The time to install is estimated to be about 6 seconds. You can see where they get this number right here. And then the size for updates is not something relevant because we don't have a previous version. We'll go ahead and hit save. And now our app is available to internal testers. So if I pull up an Android device, I don't have a way to mirror this or screen share it, so I'm not going to, or not going to try. But if I pull up an Android device and go to the Play Store, I will be able to see this application in the Play Store. I think I also maybe got an email about this, maybe not. Let me check. It would have went to my personal email, and I'm also not going to show that on camera, or on the recording at least. Yeah, okay, I don't see one. So it might take a minute to come through. It also, we can probably just go to the Play Store in our browser, because you can remotely install applications from the Play Store. So I could find them in the browser and click install to my device, and then it'll install to that device. So if I type Philosopher's Stone, let's see if it comes up. And again, this could just be an issue where it takes some time to propagate. Rosetta Stone, I don't see our really cool logo anywhere. So one thing we could look at doing is in the console here, we can find, how do we find this? Philosopher's Stone, it's a draft, okay. So I think what we would need to do is publish the store presence for this to show up. So this is Philosopher's Stone. It is a reflective journal on famous quotes. You'll give it a full description. I'm just going to go with that for now since it seems to be okay with it. Save as a draft, app icon. We downloaded app icons for the Play Store, so we'll plug that in right there. You apparently have to have a featured graphic now. I don't know what that is, so I'll have to sort that out. But we need phone screenshots and so much more. So I guess what I'm getting at here is, yeah, that's unfortunate. What is this feature graphic? 1024 by 500. So I guess that shows up at the top of the screen. I'm just gonna try to upload something. It's probably gonna yell at me about the sizing. Yeah, okay. Ugh. For a long time, leave and discard, that's fine. For a long time, the Play Store was kind of like a Wild West compared to the Apple App Store, and I feel like they're trying to do better about that. But I also feel like that puts us in a weird spot where like it's very hard to just get the internal test track set up because you have to do all of these other things. I could be wrong on that too, but I don't think I am. Sorry, I was clicking around to see if I had a way to take me to prompt users to update. That's nice. I didn't know that was a thing. To take me directly to the app on the store. Active, not reviewed. It might need to be reviewed then by them, especially since this is the first version of our application that we've published. But this should get us there, and if it does not, we will pick up in a future video and walk through the remaining steps. So we'll just give this some time to be reviewed. I think it's an automated review, so I think it just scans the code to make sure that there's not code issues, and it'll run a pre-launch report, and you can look at information about that version. Like we have a unique stability issue apparently. Users launching your app on Android 12 and higher are seeing 2 splash screens. To fix, update your app to use the splash screen API. So stuff like that is what it's scanning and giving us information for. We will circle back to this, I guess, tomorrow. So, yeah. I was hoping we could see it now. Oh, hang on. Let's try this. Temporary app name unreviewed. If I paste this into here, nope, still nothing. Okay, so the feature graphic is apparently this background piece. So I guess we can design that soon as well, and then we can get our store page up and running. But for now, this is how you update or upload your application to the Google Play console, and we will pick up here with more tomorrow. All right, so thanks for tuning in. I know this one's short, and it doesn't really feel like we accomplished much. We kind of just have to wait for that review process to kick in, that automated review, and then we can see where we land from there. I know I've been doing this for a while, but it's not too often you deploy an application to the Play Store for the first time. Usually you're updating an application that you've already deployed once, so that's a little bit more of what I'm familiar with, but we will tackle things as they come up. So don't forget, if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel. There's a bell icon to the bottom right of the video, I think. I really don't know YouTube very well. If you click that, you'll get notified of new videos too. And what else? Actually, I guess that's it. Let me know down below in the comments how you feel about how this series is going and kind of what you want to see next. And I would really appreciate that. Thank you so much and have a great Thursday.